It happened again. Runway excursions account for about a third of all the accidents in modern aviation. The common contributing factors are numerous, like tailwinds, crosswinds, runway contaminations, unstabilized approaches, low visibility, or often the combination of them, just to name a couple of them. Not infrequently, it happens with a technically fully functioning aircraft. Hi, my name is Thomas from Air Distress, and I'll guide you through the flight Emirates 9788. We don't have much official info yet, but to get an idea what happened, I gathered all the possible info available up to now. On the 19th of October 2025, Emirates 9788 with tail number Tango Charlie Alpha Charlie Fox, operated by the Turkish ACT Airlines, took off in Dubai World Center Al Maktoum International Airport, Oscar Mike Delta Whiskey around 12:58 UTC, which is 16:58 local time, with destination Hong Kong. ACT Airlines was founded in 2005 and had at the time of the flight 4 Boeing 747 cargo aircraft in its fleet. The average age of the aircraft is 26 years. Emirates Sky Cargo is presently short on aircraft and therefore leases in capacity in form of auto freighters, including the crews, to compensate the shortage. That's how the connection between ACT and Emirates Sky Cargo came along. The Boeing 747-481 SF used for this flight is a special freighter which has been previously a passenger Boeing 747, but was converted after its life as a passenger aircraft into a freighter. A major difference to a classic Boeing 747 freighter is the fact that the converted ones do not have an openable nose door. Instead, a big cargo door is fitted to the rear portion of the fuselage. The maximum takeoff weight is 394 tons or 870,000 pounds. The aircraft involved was built in 1993 and had some previous incidents which are worth to know of. On the 15th of February 2021, engine shut down in flight due to engine problems after departing from Shannon, Ireland to Chicago O'Hare, USA. On the 28th of July 2024, the 747 encountered flaps problems after takeoff from Hong Kong runway 07 right. On the 30th of July 2025, so literally 3 months before this flight, the 747 suffered an engine failure on the outboard right-hand engine when descending into Amsterdam, Netherlands. After those details, we continue with the actual flight. The Great Circle distance from Dubai to Hong Kong is around 6,300 kilometers, so not really a challenge for the Boeing 747. The normal flight time for this routing is normally locked with around 7 hours and falls in the segment of medium-range distance flights. The empty jumbo with 4 crew members started its taxi at 12:45 UTC and lined up in sequence runway 30. Shortly thereafter, at around 12:58 UTC, the 4 General Electric CF6 747 engine spooled up and pushed the aircraft off the runway to the northwest with an average climb rate of 600 feet per minute. After 4 nautical miles, the aircraft turned right direction northeast. At 13:20 UTC, so roughly 20 minutes after takeoff, the cargo jet reached its cruising altitude of 39,000 feet, or flight level 390. This climb profile corroborates the fact that the aircraft was fairly light that day. 20 minutes are quite fast to climb to flight level 390 within this short a period of time for an aircraft like the Boeing 747. The routing for this flight went over the Gulf of Oman, slightly cut the edge of Pakistan, crossed India, Bangladesh, Myanmar, China, before the 747 commenced the descent at around 19:15 UTC into Hong Kong. At 19:37 UTC, ATC cleared the 747 to flight level 110 and shortly thereafter direct to point Canto for the Canto 3 Alpha arrival.
Emirates 9788 descend to flight level 110. Emirates 9788 terminus direct to Canto.
Here you see the official standard arrival chart Canto 3 Alpha. The requirements at Canto are to be at or above flight level 130 with a speed of 280 knots. Below 10,000 feet and as a standard procedure, the speed should be maximum 250 knots or as instructed. The Canto 3 Alpha is for approaches into runway 07 in general. At this point, Emirates 9788 did not know yet to which runway they would be cleared to. At around 19:39 UTC, Emirates 9788 checked in with arrival and mentioned that they are descending to flight level 110 unrestricted inbound to Canto. ATC informed Emirates 9788 that they have to expect runway 07 left, cleared them direct to Limes, which is the initial approach fix for the ILS runway 07, and approved the high-speed request. Obviously, Emirates previously requested to maintain high speed below 10,000 feet, which ATC approved.
HongKong approach, good night, Emirates 9788 descending flight level 110 unrestricted inbound Canto.
Emirates 9788 runway 07 left, turn us direct to Limes, meeting high speed.
Direct to Limes and runway use 0 left and high speed approach, Emirates 9788.
According to the ATC transmissions, the 747 had to deviate from the course due to weather. The most active weather influenced by the monsoon around this area is to be expected between May and September. However, circumnavigation of adverse weather is still possible at any time during the year. But up to now, it all looked still normal for the 747. It's likely to become another routine approach into Hong Kong. Here you hear some of the random captured ATC weather deviation transmissions.
T85, request now 30 miles right of route, the weather.
Malaysian trade 530 miles right of track approved.
30 miles right of track approved, Malaysian 385. Deviation 10 miles right of track.
Thai 642 up to.
Thai 642.
At 19:48 UTC, Emirates 9788 was cleared for the ILS approach, runway 07 left for parallel approach. This means that at the same time there would be aircraft landing into runway 07 right. Within the transmission was also a speed limitation until 5 miles final. That part was cut out and barely noticeable. The ADS-B data from ADS-B Exchange show a stabilized approach line up for the ILS 07 left. The platform altitude of 1500 feet is the altitude according to the procedure at which the glide slope has to be intercepted. This was finally achieved with a continuous descent.
25 miles.
Until 5 nautical miles and clear as approach runway 07 left. Follow the procedure, Emirates 9788.
Shortly thereafter, ATC advised Emirates 9788 to contact tower on 118.7.
9788, contact tower 118.7.
Tower 118.7, Emirates 9788.
Unfortunately, there is no tower transmission available for the remainder of the flight. At 19:52 UTC, which is 3:52 local time in the morning, Emirates flight 9788 veered off the runway 07 left, hit the ground service vehicle, killing both car occupants. The Boeing 747-400 ended up in the water, suffered significant damage to the nose, while the tail section came completely off. The 4 crew members survived. The ground service car was, according to an airport official, not on the runway at the time of the accident. but on a parallel street next to it. Meanwhile, the ATC broadcasted the info that they had an accident on runway 07 left and that there will be no further landings accepted on 07 left until further notice.
China, we just had an accident at runway 07 left and no landing is accepted at this moment. How long can you hold?
The aircraft did not indicate any signs of distress during the approach. The descent and approach looked stable, and when it comes to speed, altitude and final approach angle consistency, there is nothing that jumps out of the ordinary. The touchdown, according to the ADS-B data, was right at the aiming point markings. The weather at the time of the approach indicated no special weather. The runways seemed to be dry, the wind came from the northeast, and the visibility was above 10 kilometers. Here are the METARs with the validity times around the time of the approach. The METAR reported at 1930 Zulu time indicated a wind of 020 with 18 knots, visibility more than 10 kilometers, view at 3000, temperature 27, dew point 20, QNH 1011, and there was no significant weather to be expected. A slight increase in wind was forecasted, but only after the time of landing, with gusts up to 21 knots. With a runway heading of 070, the wind from 020 degrees and gusting of 21 knots, this would generate a crosswind component of about 16 knots. The Boeing 747-400 can handle, depending on the runway conditions, runway width, landing type and operator limitations, a demonstrated maximum crosswind of 30 knots. So the weather, runway conditions or a pilot mistake during approach, the actual landing until touchdown doesn't look likely. Special focus during the investigation process will be given to technical issues with the aircraft itself. The nose wheel steering, the gear in general, brakes, thrust reversers or tires could have been contributing factors making the aircraft veer off to the left. Let's wait for the preliminary report to get some more reliable info what could have caused this accident.